In problem 6 of our mile marker practice, you're asked to find the area of the shaded region of this circle, which hopefully you remember is called the sector. And just like arc length, sector area really involves what part of the circle or how much of the circle we have shaded. And that's going to relate to our angle of the sector. So what we want to do is we want to go back to our proportion. We said that the ratio of the central angle to 360, so 360 degrees, because that's how many degrees are in a whole circle, that is going to be equal to the ratio of the sector area. Sorry, that's the word area. That looks a little funny. To the entire circle area. All right, so the first, well, really only two things we need to know how to do. We need to know how to find the area of the circle and then how to solve a proportion. So remember that area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Or you might hear pi r squared. So area is equal to pi r squared, or pi times the radius squared. We are given the radius right here in our picture, and we know a radius is from the center to the side of the circle, and we're going to leave this in pi notation. So in this case, our area is equal to pi times 10 squared, which we know is 100, and we would write that as area equals 100 pi. All right. We also know that the central angle of this part of our circle, of this arc, is 270 degrees. So when we're finding the area of this sector, we need this 270 degree angle. So when we set up our proportion, we're going to compare the 270 degree angle to the entire circle, which we know is 360 degrees. And that ratio is going to be equal to our sector area over our area of our entire circle, 100 pi. So our sector area will also have pi in it. So sometimes what I do to make this easier is I call this, instead of x, I call it x times pi. And that way I'm only solving for the multiplier of pi. All right, the next step is solving this proportion. We can cross multiply, and we know that in a proportion our cross products are equal. So 270 times 100 pi is equal to 360 times x pi, our unknown amount of pi. And remember, when pi is on both sides of the equal sign, we could divide both sides by pi to simplify this. And when we do that, we just have 270 times 100 equals 360x. So I'm going to multiply 270 times 100. Let's see, so 270 times 10 times 100. So I get 27,000 equals 360x. All right, so now I can divide both sides by 360. It cancels out or divides off on the right side. And 27,000 divided by 360 ends up being 75. So 75 is our value of x. Sorry, I know I'm writing all over the screen. So our area is not 75, but it's 75 pi, because we said that if we were finding x over here, our sector area is really x times pi. So this is 75 pi. That's a big difference between 75 and 75 pi.